Hello YouTube. I have just purchased the Hamilton Beach Programmable Stay or Go 7-quart slow cooker, which I'm gonna refer to as a crock pot. It's basically what it is. And I am one of those people who doesn't like to read the instructions if I can get away with it. And luckily I did read these instructions. I found someone who introduced this crock pot on YouTube, and they left a couple things out that when I read the very short list of instructions were pretty important. So you can slow this thing down or pause it and read any of these pages if you like, and they will tell you some of the cautions and the parts, but then you're right on to the instructions, and that's pretty much it right there. I'll go over them in a second. How to warm food. They recommend that you unplug it when you're done using it. They recommend that you don't use the Santa setting if you use a dishwasher, and to be careful when you're washing it. And then the lid latch. The reason I made this video is because the other video did not talk about the lid latch, and I would have used this the wrong way had I not read this. Tips for slow cooking, food safety tips, and then troubleshooting. The rest of this is just different languages. There's no recipes in here, so maybe they have some recipes on the website. Okay, so there's the box. If you would like to read that stuff, you can pause it. Again, if you'd like to read any of that, you can pause it. This is how it's used. It's fairly simple. You have a temperature and you have the hours. You have the on and the off. When you turn it on, it automatically goes to the high setting and 4 hours. You can change the hours at any time while it's cooking. So if I decide I want to change it from 4 hours to 2 hours, or change the temperature, you can do that without turning it on and off. So you can use the low setting or the warm setting. However, they recommend you do not cook anything on the warm setting, including reheating foods, that you use either the high or the low setting. Now, here's the interesting things about how this programmable part works. It runs a maximum of 14 hours, so it will turn itself off after 14 hours. If I had it on 10 hours, it would automatically switch to warm after 10 hours. It goes down in 2-hour increments. So after 2 hours, this will go from 4 to 2, and then after 2 more hours, this will go to nothing, and that will just light up to warm, and it will stay warm for up to 14 hours, at which point in time, supposedly, it will turn off. I think that's it. I did not know this, and part of the reason I bought this is I thought it was sort of like a pressure cooker, certainly what it looked like, and that you would hook these up and sort of rubber holders, and you know, tighten it down. And I thought it was sort of a combination pressure cooker crock pot. I was wrong. You do not use the straps, and you don't bolt it down or harness it down or tighten it down at all when you're cooking. You just cook. And you can see there's like a rubbery seal here, right? So I'm hitting that up there, that's a rubbery seal. And you just make sure that it's on there properly and it's seated properly. You have a couple vent holes here, so there is gonna be some definite loss of moisture. So you wanna take that all into consideration when you're setting up your moisture, what types of things you're cooking. These are for storage and for transportation, so it doesn't spill. I think that's about it. There are some tips that you might want to read. I'm making chili here, so I cooked the meat ahead of time. I cooked the onions ahead of time, and the rest of the vegetables I put in and gave it a good stirring. They say you don't want to open it up like I am right now and stir it around, because you let out all the heat and it messes up the amount of time that you would use to cook. So stir it up, and then don't open it up except for certain types of recipes. They also recommended that certain vegetables you don't put in until the end, and certain other ingredients you don't put in until the end, because they might become mushy, they might get overcooked. So that's where you might actually want to read some of the tips. I'm assuming that there's recipes on their website, although I don't know. Good luck.